So 8-time Pro Bowler Tyreek Hill is back in the news, getting some waves going, if you will. Now, he's currently still recovering from his ACL injury, but in his time off the other day, he decided to post something to his Snapchat, and it was a picture of him and Tua Tagovailoa, his former teammate, who is now an Atlanta Falcon. He decided to post the two of them when they were back in Miami, and the caption was, and I quote, "I miss you, old friend." Now, naturally, that sparked some controversy. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this now before we go ahead and get into it and discuss what needs to be discussed. Number one, let me say this. It's a couple things. I did not expect Tyreek Hill to do that because of the noise that was already surrounding Tyreek Hill and Tua before this. So, number one, it was unexpected. Number two, I don't know if Tyreek Hill was I don't know if he was reading my thoughts or what, but literally the other day, and I ain't gonna lie to you to make it sound fly to you. Shout out to my boy ISO Joe Johnson over on Nightcap. But I'm not gonna lie to you to make it sound fly to you. The other day, as a Falcons fan myself, I just was thinking. I saw a post on social media, and it had Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill next to each other, right? And it was like, I think the caption was something like, who would you pick if you could choose one to be on your team? And I was just thinking, just like a general thought, right? I'm not thinking nothing is gonna happen off of it, right? There's no possible way that we're gonna get either one of them. Probably not even gonna be in the conversation for either one of them, but just an idea, right? I was thinking, you know what? It'll be very interesting if we can get Tyreek Hill to reunite with Tua in Atlanta on like a new look like Dolphins connection, except this time it's kind of different because now Tyreek Hill kind of would be, coming off an ACL injury, so he wouldn't be like the guy, but he'd still be with Tua. He still be with the quarterback that he has spoke very highly of in the past, as we know. So said he could potentially be better than Patrick Mahomes. So he spoke very highly of him in the past. So I was thinking, what if they were to reunite in Atlanta? What would that look like? That would be very interesting on like a new look Miami Dolphins, right, type of thing, right? And after I had that thought, I promise you, I swear to you guys, I wouldn't lie to you. I swear to you guys, the next day, Tyreek Hill posted that. And so now, everybody is going crazy over the fact of, will Tyreek Hill find his way back to Tua in Atlanta? Now, the two teams that I've heard, just being honest with you guys, that could potentially sign Tyreek Hill has been, or not even two teams, the team, be honest with you, that I've heard that could sign him would be the Kansas City Chiefs. And let me say this, I kind of expected that. I kind of always figured once Tyreek Hill hit free agency, or once it was discussed that he would not be back with the Dolphins, I knew that his first option has to be going back to the Chiefs, right? It has to be. Like, because it's so much, I feel like there's so much history there. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill obviously had a great connection. The whole contract extension problem that happened, which is the reason why Tyreek Hill ended up leaving, because he couldn't get a contract extension that he liked or that he felt like was respectful to what he was doing with the Kansas City Chiefs. So he felt like he needed to, see his way out. And rightfully so. You all know I'm about everybody getting the bag, so shout out to him. But I feel like now that he already got the bag, because he got the bag from Miami, so now that he already took care of the money side, I felt like, okay, well, easily now he's going to go back to Kansas City and probably close it out with Patrick Mahomes and the team he started with, right? Like, that would just make sense. And that's the team that I've heard of. I reportedly Kansas City is like the clear front runners to sign Tyreek Hill over anybody, which, once again, I expected. They are the clear front runners to sign him for multiple reasons. Number one, because it'll be later in the year, and plus they have other wide receivers to where they don't need, they don't need Tyreek Hill to really be Tyreek Hill for them to be successful. And besides, this signing, like I said, will be taking place later in the offseason or, later in the year. Normally, these signings take place in free agency times and when free agency is first kicking off and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things like teams in your ears, a lot of teams that you're hearing out, a lot of teams that you're talking to. But this signing would be a kind of later in the year, later in the offseason signing. So it'll be like, okay, you're really just only talking to Kansas City. You can get back on one accord with Patrick Mahomes, get back on one accord with Andy Reid, find out when you're going to be back fully to where you can actually talk about practicing and playing with the team and stuff like that. Pause. But he can figure out how all those things are going to work later in the offseason or later in the year, like I'll just put it like that, when he does end up signing with the team, right? So stay with me. With them being the front runners, them being in my opinion, clear position, pause, to sign him, there was no way that I thought any other team would even have a chance, right? Like, no way. There's no way that any team at this point even has a chance to get into Tyreek Hill's mindset until that post dropped. And so that got me to thinking, chill family, check it out. Would it make sense for Tyreek Hill to reunite with Tua Tagovailoa in Atlanta and become a Falcon? Would it make sense? Let me say this as a Falcons fan myself. Absolutely. It would make, in my opinion, the perfect sense outside of the Chiefs. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Outside of the Chiefs, I would tell you guys why it will make perfect sense. Just hear me out real quick. So, you're coming off an ACL tear, right? So you're trying to recover, you're trying to get right, and you need a place to where they're going to be patient with you, and they're not going to expect, in my opinion, like you to be the guy that you once were before the injury. Like, I'm not expecting Tyreek Hill to have 1,700 yards this upcoming season, not at all, because he tore his ACL. He's coming back off an injury. He has to get readjusted to the game of football. I don't care how much you practice, and NFL players will tell you this. I don't care how much you practice, how much you train, how much you recover, how hard you go in the gym, pause. I don't care what you do, what kind of training you doing. I don't care. There is no preparation, no practice, really in anything, to be honest with you. But it's no practice, no preparation, no level of going to the all-out extent of practicing and preparing and getting yourself ready that you can go to that can get you ready for playing NFL football on Sundays. Any NFL player will tell you that. Trust me, in multiple interviews, NFL players have said that multiple times. They practice hard. You can practice hard. You can train hard. You can whatever. You can do Pilates. You can do all of that. You name it. Like the song. You name it. Hey, look, whatever training or workout you want to do, you name it. It still is not going to get you ready for what you have to expect on Sunday. It's just not. Playing out on that field in front of a live crowd in a live game, in live NFL football, it's just different. It's different. So Tyreek Hill needs a team to where they can be patient with him and not expect him to do too much. They don't expect him to do too much. They're not relying on him too much. They just sign him and give him a chance to just be back on the NFL roster and slowly but surely kind of make his way back to being a consistent version of Tyreek Hill throughout the course of a season. And allow Tyreek Hill to, get back into the rhythm of being Tyreek Hill again, right? He needs a team like that. So a team like that would have to have what? They would have to already have a wide receiver who can get it done, or wide receivers who can get it done. They also need a good quarterback that can, look out for him at times when as he starts to make his way back to being that guy, or to being, excuse me, not that guy, but to being Tyreek Hill, right? As he makes his way back to being that, they need a quarterback that can not only trust himself, but also trust Tyreek Hill to be able to handle the pressure of, increasingly maybe getting more passes, maybe getting more targets throughout the course of the year. Maybe he start off with low targets, which I would assume would happen. He start off with low targets. The quarterback has to trust himself that, okay, as the season goes on, I'm going to start trusting myself, or put the pressure on myself to start getting Tyreek Hill into a rhythm later on in the year as the season progresses and as he gets healthier and healthier and more comfortable in his, new body. Pause. But as he gets comfortable coming off of an injury, because that's the main thing that Tyreek Hill will have to adjust to after that. And any person that's ever gotten hurt or injured will tell you that the thing is, the mental part about being comfortable doing the things you used to, that's the part that's like the real hurdle. So as Tyreek Hill gets more comfortable doing those things, the quarterback will have to put the pressure on himself to, okay, let me start helping him get more acquainted to being Tyreek Hill and get him more targets as the season goes on, right? It don't got to be, like I said, 1,700, yards, targets. It ain't got to be that. It ain't got to be the most targets on the team, second most targets on the team. It ain't got to be that. But it has to be more targets as the season progresses to allow Tyreek Hill to continue to improve, right? Okay, cool. So they would need a good quarterback. And they would need other receiving targets, like we just said, that can also handle the pressure of just carrying the load, pause, until Tyreek Hill kind of gets back into his rhythm of being a reliable target consistently, right? So let's see. Who would I say has that resume filled out that I just said? The resume I'm talking about is a good quarterback, a team that is in a position to where, pause, but they have multiple wide receivers or multiple receiving options to where they don't need and they don't have to rely on Tyreek Hill to be Tyreek Hill for them to be consistent in winning games and to be a good team, right? So who would that be? Well, let me see. Number one, I would rank the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, right? So we said them first, right? And who else would that be? Not even being biased right here, but who else would that be that would actually be interested in a Tyreek Hill? Who else would that be? Well, I don't know. Maybe the team that just happens to have the quarterback that he misses. I'm just saying. And it's not even a thing of, I know y'all probably like, well, chill. What makes you think that Tyreek Hill would even be interested or even have a place on the Falcons? Like what's going on with you, chill? What makes you even think this is a possibility? Well, let's just be honest here. Let me go down the wide receiver roster for the Atlanta Falcons this upcoming season, okay? So the wide receiver room at this point, and this is not the final roster or the final cut how it'll look, but right now as we speak, this is what the wide receiver room looks like. So for the Atlanta Falcons, they have Drake London, Jahan Dotson, Alameda Zaccheaus, Zachariah Branch, Chris Blair, Dylan Drummond, Keelan Marion, Vinny Anthony II, Lameek Brockington, Antoine Wells Jr., right? Okay. So you're asking, chill, okay, that's their wide receiver room, right? Where would Tyreek Hill, where would the 5-time All-Pro fit into that mix? Where would he pause, but where would he even intertwine his talents in that mix? Let's see here. All right, stay with me. Let's see here, right? Out of all them wide receivers I just named, just going down the list, I'm scanning it one more time. Going down the list, scanning this wide receiver roster. And you also know Kyle Pitts is going to be in that mix as well, right? So Kyle Pitts is going to be a receiving option, but he's not in the wide receiver room. You get what I'm saying? So he's not, yeah, I get it, but he doesn't qualify as a wide receiver. He's a tight end. You know, he is a wide receiver technically, but he's a tight end officially. So he's not included in this discussion. Do you know that out of all those wide receivers I just named, not one of them is a Pro Bowler. Not one. Not Drake London, Jahan Dotson, Olamide Zaccheaus, none of them. The rookies, obviously they're not Pro Bowlers, but anybody on that roster I just named, not one wide receiver on there is a Pro Bowler. Not one. Not one of those wide receivers have been to the point of being like one of the, how do I want to say it, because I want to sound respectful, you know, with all due respect. Now, one of those wide receivers have been to the lengths, put it like that Tyreek Hill has been in his career. And I'm just being respectful as possible, but it is what it is. Not one of those wide receivers have been to the extent that Tyreek Hill has been to. Not one. And I think Drake London will be eventually. I think Drake London will have his first Pro Bowl season this year coming up. But he's not there now, is the point. But I think he should be, but that's a topic for a different day. But, you know, anyway, he's not right now. That's the facts. So Tyreek Hill would bring something very unique to Atlanta. Okay? Here's what he would bring. Tyreek Hill has over 11,000 yards receiving in his career. Like I said, 5-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler. He's already had the big money contracts, big contracts, done won the Super Bowls, done pretty much everything that you would want to do as a wide receiver in the NFL. So the place that Tyreek Hill would fit with the Atlanta Falcons would be in one of my most coveted positions, pause, in any sport, as you guys know if y'all been watching the show. What do I always say teams need? Veteran experience. What is Tyreek Hill? He's a veteran with experience in doing everything that all of them wide receivers want to do in their career. He's done everything they want to do. Drake London, of course he wants to make a Pro Bowl. Of course he wants to be an All-Pro. Guess what? Tyreek Hill been there, done that. He knows all about it. He can tell you what it's like to be there. He can tell you what it's like to get there, what criteria you need to get to it, to get into that space. Now Drake London already got his bag, but if it was when it comes to the younger receivers, how to navigate the money department and stuff like that, let's be real. He has the veteran experience as far as how to operate in this NFL space as far as being a top NFL receiver and a respected NFL receiver. He has the experience of doing it. And not saying that the other receivers don't have the talent, because they do, but Tyreek Hill's talent can help the other wide receivers' talent, the rookies, the younger players, even the Olamide Zaccheaus, even though he's a veteran at this point, he can help these players by using his talent and using his presence, because here's what Tyreek Hill is going to help these younger players realize. And these younger players not realize, but help them kind of resonate with, right? Or kind of realize and accept. Put it like that. Yeah, that's a better word. Accept. Tyreek Hill is going to help them know that everyone as far as wide receivers, normally you have a role, right? As a wide receiver, you normally have a role. If you're a speed wide receiver, you know you're going to be the deep threat guy, pause. If you're a physical wide receiver, you probably not going to be doing too much downfield stuff, but you're going to be like, more than likely, you're going to be the guy the team rely on when they need them third down plays. You know what I'm saying? Like them third down, third and 3, 3rd and 5. You're going to be like that guy that the team kind of go to when they need when they gotta have it. If you're a route running receiver, you're probably the go-to guy. You're probably a go-to guy as well. While the speed guy is normally not like a go-to guy, even though Tyreek Hill was when he was, in his prime, he was a go-to guy as a speed receiver. But physical receivers, route runners, they're probably going to be your go-to guys. But Tyreek Hill can help these receivers in so many ways because he's practicing with them. He's teaching them the techniques. He's teaching them how to, okay, this is how you get off. Look at how he helped Jalen Waddle. Look at how he helped Jalen Waddle further develop, further get better, further improve. Even though Jalen Waddle was already had talent, already had potential. And all of these young players that I mentioned on the Falcons roster, they have that too. Drake London, like I said, is going to be a Pro Bowler this year, in my personal opinion. Jahan Dotson is talented. Olamide Zaccheaus is talented. Zachariah Branch is talented. So many wide receivers on that roster, they have the talent. That's not even a question. But they need someone to show them the way and show them the how of okay, this is the NFL, right? And this is how we do it. This is how you're going to stay in this league for a long time, and this is how you're going to be successful in the NFL, carving out your role, becoming better on little things that you can improve on, route running, breaking down, getting open, getting separation. Tyreek Hill that knows how to do all those things. And Tyreek Hill, if y'all seen him on any podcast he's ever done, any interview he's ever done, y'all already know he's a down-to-earth, relatable dude. So if that's the case, he's going to be able to get through to all the younger guys, letting them know this is how you stay in this league for a long time. This is how you carve out your role. This is how you get separation. This is how you get open. This is how you get the quarterback to look your way. All those little details, those little wide receiver detail points, all of that. How to break down, how to just, in those moments where the quarterback needs something to happen, how to get his attention in those moments. Just how to become a professional and to be a qualified, long-term professional, successful professional like Tyreek Hill has been. He can help these young guys in so many ways just using his experience. And let's be real, overall, his presence would help a team like the Falcons because not only does he have a connection and will he have a connection with the younger wide receivers, but also he's going to have a connection with the quarterback, obviously, because that will be the reason that he's coming to Atlanta in the first place, because he wants to reconnect with Tua Tagovailoa, right? So he would have a chance to reconnect with Tua, so they already have a good relationship, so that's not a concern, really. So it already is that chemistry there. And then on top of that, overall, from a team perspective, right? You need a veteran. You need a veteran that is there to just show the entire team or tell the entire team, look, when it comes down to things like preparation, getting ready for a playoff game that the Falcons can potentially cash in this year as far as being in the playoffs, getting ready for a playoff game, getting ready for a wild card game, getting ready for a team that you might potentially see in the playoffs, how to approach different games, how to approach the ending of the season. Tyreek Hill played with the Kansas City Chiefs. He knows, and the Miami Dolphins as well. Tyreek Hill knows all the ins and outs, all the little intricate details as far as what championship teams do to make sure that they are at their best come Sunday, come the playoffs, come the Super Bowl, come the AFC Championship. He knows everything about how championship teams prepare and get ready. That's the guy that the Falcons need to rely on his knowledge, because if the Falcons do go to the playoffs this year, right, hypothetically, they're going to need that guy to be like, okay, look, this is what we gonna do. This is how you get ready for your first playoff game, how you shake off the jitters, how you open up a playoff game, how you set the rhythm. You need someone like that to kind of help ease the pressure of all these younger guys, of a team that's never been to that point. You need a guy that can just come in and be that calming voice and just ease the pressure and won't flinch. Tyreek Hill can be that guy. Absolutely. And Tyreek Hill is only one season removed from having a 900-plus yard season before the injury. So he still can get it done at an extremely high level when he's healthy. So if Tyreek Hill is serious about this, I think the Falcons should reach out to his people, see when he'll be back and ready to play, or ready to, as far as when they know he'll be back this season. They should get in contact with Tyreek Hill's people. And in my opinion, I think the Falcons should see what it takes. Probably like a veteran minimum, honestly. See what it takes and see if they can get the ink dry on the contract to bring Tyreek Hill to Atlanta. I think it would be a great move for the Atlanta Falcons. I truly do. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below, man, for real.